This news update is brought to you by...
So, I'm meeting Rico later. Gotta check in with the girls, but first, let me check my usage on the MyLime app. Now, what should I wear? Hashtag sexy. He's here.
Welcome to the Barbados Today Evening Update. It's Friday, February 27th. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Thanks for joining us. We begin with reaction to a suggestion by Dr. Dexter James, the head of the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, for authorities to consider discontinuing the treatment of some terminally ill patients. Delivering a lecture yesterday on the topic, Is Free Healthcare Sustainable?, the Chief Executive Officer said that the time had come for Barbados to have a serious conversation on the issue, especially in the face of spiraling healthcare costs. But religious leader, Senator Dr. David Durant, is totally against the idea. He made it clear that every family has a right to have their relatives pass away with dignity.
I believe that people should at least be given that respect and that compassion to leave this part of the earth, with dignity, rather than like being forced to leave it by reason of cost, as they're saying. I mean, money is being spent elsewhere doing all kinds of other things. And I believe supporting the life, for whatever possibility there is in the future for that person maybe to totally recover.
Meantime, Anglican Bishop Dr. John Holder is not ruling out the possibility, but maintains that officials should proceed with caution when addressing the issue.
My own position is that it is an issue that needs further discussion and maybe a longer discussion, but whatever point we reach in the discussion, it seems to me that the medical persons and the family or relatives of the ill person are the ones who must be in the primary, central in that discussion.
Okay, so you're not ruling it out of hand, but you're saying something that we should be cautious about.
Yeah, I think we should be conscious about it. My concern is that it can't be done just like that. It has to be a process that leads to the point where an agreement is reached that further help to this person, further support, medical support to this person, is that what improves the quality of life.
A third man has been remanded to prison in connection with the December 7th death of Albert Boyce. 28-year-old Jamal Graves of Grape Hall, St. Lucie, was not required to plea when he appeared before acting magistrate Aliston Seal today on the charge of murder. He will return to court on March 20th. Graves is also charged with the illegal possession of a firearm and robbery. In other news, Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Agricultural Society, James Paul, says it will take some time before farmers can meet the country's egg quota. The island has been experiencing a shortage of eggs since late last year, leading to the importation of approximately 960 cases back in December. But while James says steps are being taken to rectify the problem, he admitted that it will take another 3 months before all is back in order.
What we have is a situation where once things get back to normal, we should be able to satisfy the local poultry market as we are accustomed to do. I think what we saw really was just a situation where because of the difficulty in sourcing hatching eggs, it affected then the placements on farms. And that is just a temporary anomaly which will be rectified, as I said, by May.
Hundreds of students from around the country made their way to Queen's Park today, marking the start of the annual Agrofest event. When Barbados Today visited the location this morning, the students, especially the little ones, were all smiles about what was on display. They were particularly interested in the animals and the array of birds. A green monkey who was accompanied by the tug band and Mother Sally also caused a stir among some students. In sports, a horrific injury to Burger King Clapham Bulls guard Daniel Lovell marred last night's set of games in the Cooperators General Insurance Knockout competition. In what has been described as the worst foot injury ever seen in basketball in Barbados, Lovell appeared to break his right ankle after landing awkwardly on the foot of Orange Three Pinelands Raymond Simmons as he attempted to block Simmons' fast break layup. The incident, which occurred with under 1 minute to go in the third quarter, left his ankle bent almost 90 degrees. Despite a spirited rally by the Bulls following the incident, they still went down 69-62 to Pinelands. In the other game of the night, Pan American Life Insurance Warren Sports Club booked their spot in the semi-finals with an exciting 64-62 victory over the Station Hill Cavaliers.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
It's time for Agrofest again. Come and enjoy the National Agricultural Exhibition on February 27th to March 1st at the historic Queen's Park. Over 300 exhibits on show, highlighting the theme, Inclusive Agriculture, Strengthening Linkages, Creating Synergies. Agrofest 2015, the biggest agricultural exhibition in the Caribbean. Don't miss it.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter. That's the move for me. Stability, prosperity. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
To news from the region, CARICOM's outgoing chairman, Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister Gaston Brown, says the region needs to take on the world as a united front, especially when it comes to its financial services sector. He made the call as heads meet for their summit, which is now in its final day in the Bahamas. More in this report from ZDN News.
Consequently, corresponding banks in the United States and major banking centers in Europe have been made to evaluate risk versus rewards for doing business with our indigenous banks and banks in our offshore sector. Because in many cases, indigenous banks cannot provide a high level of reward, corresponding banks are closing their relationships with them, all because an arbitrary and unsubstantiated claim is being made that the Caribbean is a high-risk area for financial services. Unless this situation is addressed with urgency, the indigenous banks in each of our countries will be forced to close their doors.
Chairman Brown says there's proof that world powers continue to bully CARICOM. He referenced a $168 million award which Antigua and Barbuda has yet to collect on. But that pales in comparison to the blow that a pending European Union policy on sugar exports is forecast to have.
And finally, on the international scene, Mexican police say they have captured the country's most wanted drug lord, Silvano Latuta Gomez. More in this BBC report.
Earlier, who said that the fact that he wanted to mix politics with his drugs empire created as many enemies as friends, and perhaps that's why the net closed in. But this is, as you said, you know, he was a very individual drugs lord. He was originally a teacher. That's why one of his nicknames was El Profe, short for professor. And he turned his back on teaching to get involved in the drugs world. He had a bounty on his head of $2 million, and while many of his rival drugs lords and people from Knights Templar were arrested, he remained at large. But now, obviously, he has been arrested. He was arrested in the early hours of Friday. No shots were fired, and he's been taken into custody.
And on that note, we come to the end of our Barbados Today evening update, but we will be back again on Monday morning. Until then, remember to log on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribe to our e-paper email updates, or like us on Facebook. You can also catch us on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and the gas stations near you. Also tune in to Channel 101 Online TV, as well as Mix 96.9 FM to get all the latest news and sports. I'm Frenella Wedderburn. Do have an enjoyable weekend.
This news update is brought to you by...
So, I'm meeting Rico later. Gotta check in with the girls, but first, let me check my usage on the MyLime app. Now, what should I wear? Hashtag sexy.